and hopefully you can hear us.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello. I hope you can hear us, and welcome, Phantom. Awesome.
Oh, we can use mute that. There we go.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'll keep. Okay, perfect. Ravaging Ranger. Welcome. Thank you for coming,
Nice,
guys.
nice.
So there we go. So I'm having things set up here. So yeah, I think it is working, and I'm just gonna change. That works perfect. So we can. I put Linda because she's doing something more interesting than me right now. So I'm.
No, 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 no.
So that is, yeah. So we're just gonna have a 2 hour working on our project here. So and I'm taking it very easy. I've been working on so many things for the virtual GreyhawkCon next week. So I feel I need just a little reprieve. So I'm just gonna doodle in Photoshop and work on my large area shield lens map because I don't want to spill more details before the adventure next week, so to speak. So there and my seminars. So I'm going to work on this and just I'm going to place forests and work on forest masks first. That's the goal with this. That's why I'm having these kind of pink, and there should be some yellow areas as well here. So there are some little yellows here, and that is my. I use color overlay so I can easily see where World Machine have decided to put different types of trees. So the pink is the deciduous forest, the leafy forest, and the yellow that I use yellow color overlay. They are the evergreen forest. Exactly. I don't want. I want to keep the meta gaming to a minimum, so to speak.
Yeah, and considering I'm one of her players,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got an answer.
So I have
Oh,
everyone
you put
is
it in there.
doing
Okay,
good.
cool.
So yep. So what
I'm
are you
hoping.
working on today, Linda?
I'm trying to fix my roof line on my longhouse because
Yeah.
it's being very difficult to line up. Uh, I'm just struggling a little bit here and there. It's probably going to be just a short-term thing because I'll get bored with it trying to figure out how to line
Mm-hmm.
this up. Um, and my snapping is not working like it should for the same reasons I said in Sunday stream, I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, when the guy who made this package, he didn't put his origins where they should be on all of them. So some of them line up easy with snapping, some of them don't. So I'm struggling with that factor
Okay.
right now
Yep.
and trying to get everything organized.
Yep.
But it's just a factor I have to do all this to make sure it looks good in the final product.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And in order to help me decide where to put trees, I'm going to put in masks that I had let World Machine generate them. So I have things like flow, elevation, slope, roughness, deposition, and couple of, probably a few others. And I'm going to use them to and then water masks and stuff to decide where trees should grow and not, so to speak. So now I'm importing these masks and I'm locking them in place so I have them. So then I can start using that data and build separate masks for each tree. So I can decide that they're growing a little bit more on southerly slope, or if it's too steep, then there will be none. So no trees and stuff like that. No trees and water and stuff. So that way I can make masks and decide that only on flat areas that are, or a lot of deposition, for instance, that means that a lot of soil and sediment get dumped on those areas. That's what the deposition mask is. So if you zoom in the terrain, you can see certain areas along rivers and stuff here, and at the lower end of slopes, that's where you have the most deposition. And I can also normalize these, or kind of increase them and stuff. So I will work on that during these 2 hours. So now I need to import a few others here. So I should probably have an 8-bit altitude or elevation. There I have altitude non-forest norm 8-bit. I should have altitude raw. I'm not really sure which one I should go. I'll take the that altitude, so I at least have an altitude. And for I have one down there already, so I can skip that one because I already have one down here. So let's move that up. So here I have an elevation already put in, so that's good. Now I need to put in the other ones here, so that's a lot of stuff here. Deposition, exposed, that are areas that are top hills that are kind of standing up. So it's the hill things that protrude out from the landscape are the ones in are the brightest here, so to speak. Exposed areas. So, and this is a mask that you can also use when placing trees. It's a very, very detailed mask, so I might have to blur it or something about, because otherwise you might get to. But it depends. The resolution I'm working with here is the porta potty scale, so it's 5 feet per pixel. It's a 15 by 15 mile area of southern shield dance. So you can see in the background here, we can zoom in. So it is, I'm just gonna zoom in here. Let's do this and put it in here, by the way, and full screen. So it's actually, what I'm working on is this area here. So it's along the coast here, up here, and up that bit. That's what I'm working on at the moment.
Sorry, guys, my throat is being a poop.
Yeah, mine is kind of bad too, so yeah. So we have exposed. I'm going to put that aside. And this is one of many reasons that these files get enormous while you're working on them, is because you import all the textures and all the masks and stuff, and then as you get closer to the finish line and you start doing things like buildings and stuff, you can start deleting a lot of these masks because you need them a lot in the beginning. Flow mask. There was a flat mask. Do I have a flat mask for bogs? Flat mask. So yeah, there we go. I had the flat mask already.
And just a warning, I may get frustrated with this, switch over to Blender sometime during the night, because this lining up this ceiling or roof line has been a royal pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I may need a break from it and just switch over to Blender.
Totally get that. I might get frustrated with this too, but this is kind of low key. I needed a couple hours of kind of a break a little bit here, so. Yep.
I had a pretty, excuse me, frustrating day with some of the Fantasy Ground stuff today too, so I was needing this tonight. Oh, no.
Let's see here.
There we go. That's better.
And we have no dropped frames, which is good. So, yep.
Nice. Why is there such?
And then one other important tip for people that work in Photoshop: lock your layers. Not completely lock, but lock their position so you can't move them or resize them, because that's something that might happen accidentally, and especially when you work with precision stuff like this, it's very important. So I always try to lock every important layer. There's a couple of them here that I haven't locked, so I need to lock the position of every layer. And then you have the complete padlock here. That means that you lock everything, and this just locks position. And then you can lock resizing, but it's prevent auto nesting into and out of artboards and frames, and I'm not really sure what that means. So yeah. But the size and movement is really important to lock, and then you can lock image pixels. That's another one that is good sometimes. And you can lock transparent pixels, which is a really cool thing, because instead of making a mask, you can just lock and say only paint on the pixels that have paint. Really great if you work on transparent PNGs and stuff. Slope mask. Let's see if there's any more masks to import here. And I use place embedded because I don't want to link them. I want to make sure that if I change things in this file, it should only, all the changes should stay in this file and not in the original file, because if I screw it up, I might want to import the same thing all over again. so to speak. So that's really important for me to make sure that whatever I do here is contained in this file and not spreading. I don't want to spread changes accidentally to other files. That was slope. We have a wear mask, and then I think we're good here.
Hello, Lord Gazumba. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Jay. We have some water masks and stuff, so but I'm going to skip them for now. So yep, because I'm going to work a lot of on hand painted. So yep.
That's good. That's why I'm doing this stream with Hannah. I'm taking it
Yeah,
easy tonight
exactly.
too.
That goes for all of us. We're taking it easy
Mhm.
tonight here. So no, yeah, it's all easy. So what I want to do first mission of the day here is to try and build. I want to build a mask of where it potentially can be trees. I want to simply take a mask that I want to make sure that I don't paint on water, don't paint on rocks, and not where the slope was too slopey, so to speak, or
The
too steep
slope is
slope.
too
Yeah,
slopey.
yep,
Good,
slopey.
good technical terms.
Yeah.
The slope is too slopey.
Yep. Yeah, or too rough. The terrain can be too rough too. So,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I want to exclude those areas, and then simply so I can just doodle wherever I want, and it will not be in the wrong spot. So that is one of the goals, so to speak, that I want to. Yep, too sloppy. Yep. That, but that's me. That's not the nature of the image. It's my character in this sense is my
Do
too
here.
sloppy. Yep. But sometimes I want to be more sloppy because I can be too tedious at times, and yep. Let's see here. So now I need to. We have one thing that we don't have to consider in this one is that if you have like very mountainous terrain, you have to worry about elevation, meaning it might be terrain that is above the tree line. But in this climate, with this flat terrain, that's not an issue. Trees can grow on any elevation in this area, so we don't need to worry about the elevation, but we need to worry about slope. So let's, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to rasterize layer here. So now I'm going to, and this one I'm going to, let's see here. I need to, I should adjust this to the inverted, because what I want to have is I want to, most areas should be white and only certain areas should be black, so to speak, or gray. And now when I look at it, I don't have any areas that are completely black, so I need to adjust this one a little bit. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take image and I'm going to take levels, and here is where the fun starts. So white areas are the areas that you can have trees, and black is the one that you shouldn't have. So now I can simply turn areas more and more into areas where I don't want this. So I don't want any forest on slopes here. So yeah. A mug of sloppy. So yeah, we have to. Yep. So now I'm going to simply start
Okay.
tweaking
Well,
here until I get.
this roof is going to irritate me, so I probably be switching.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, compile.
So now I
Either
can.
that or I'll just do something else.
Yeah.
All right, what does that look like in the full world now?
Now I'm starting to get.
Still looks like
Yeah.
junk. Grr.
And I need to bring this slider here that guards the blackest area, how black they are, because if I don't have any the first pixel starts here, and if I have this slider left of, I hope you can see that. If I have this one further this way, that means that there will be trees everywhere. So I need to bring this one at least up to probably about here, because now I have slopes that are actually black, and this determines how much of, so this, and I want areas that are, oh yeah, now we're starting to get somewhere.
So of course the one I need to edit is a shadow, so that'll be fun. Let's see here. Try to get my view so I can see what I'm doing.
So now I press OK, and here we go. So here we have the slope mask, and now I can turn that one off, and now I should start with the wear mask, and this one I should keep this way, because most of the areas here should be no trees, so to speak, and it should. Or hang on a second here. Now I need to think. I'm a bit mushy brain today, so. Okay, I hope it's not all bad, Phantom. That you had a week that you need some sloppy. Yep. So now I need to figure out which way I should go with this. I should probably turn this one into invert. I'm going to start with this and invert this one too. Oh, and now I got a smart filter, so I need to rasterize the layer. There we go. And then do the same thing I did with the other one. So I need to go in here and...
I did not realize that when I'm editing here in the blueprint, it edits in real life. Did not know that. Learn something new every day. Sorry to interrupt you, Anna.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I realized that I should not undo and undo invert.
Okay, so
yep.
This one needs to go down.
So if I do this, I have the slope mask here. So I simply have to add them one way or the other. So the slope mask. This is areas. Now I need to figure out, are these areas I should add where I have trees, or I probably want some deposition here. Wear mask. This is areas I don't want trees. Okay, so it's good. So I should actually invert this. You need to think about what kind of mask it is, and these the wear mask are areas that are in active erosion, where things are falling off cliffs and dirt is sliding away and stuff like that. And that, I assume, are areas where you have less tree growth because they get swept off when there's flooding and snowfall and stuff like that. So these are areas of less trees. So we need to invert this one. Here we go, and now we need to levels again, and we need to get the black areas more into black, and there will be a huge overlap between slope and this. So slope is even more kind of, so new. There we go.
Why are you going up? Stop it. Being difficult.
So those are areas that I don't want forest. And here we have one interesting one. This is recessed. These are like cavities and stuff that are protected from so on. And there's a problem, a little bit of an issue with this, because you get these edges of rivers, but those are actually good in that sense that a lot of trees grows along rivers because they have good access to water. So I'm going to take a look at this, and you get, I'm not sure this mask is actually that good, but we're going to see if we can make something out of it. And I think I want this one to enhance. So I'm going to rasterize this. And now I'm going to do levels right away, and here I want to increase a little bit the white. Here we go. So I want to have that some areas here actually are pure bright, and then I can work within the image. There we go.
Grr, line up.
Okay.
Top Gun thing.
Yeah.
Just being difficult. I'm trying to figure out which piece.
Yeah.
Which. Sorry, Hannah. Go ahead.
Please. This is an interesting mask. The flow mask is one of the more interesting ones, because that's where things are actually deposition is where they things are coming from in the terrain during erosion. Flow mask is where things are actually moving, and deposition is where they end up. And where things are moving a lot, that's where you should definitely not have that many trees. So this one should be inverted.
Oh, of course, I had to grab the wrong piece.
Here we go. And now it's time to go in and adjustment levels. You can use the hang on a second, there is another one you can use as well, and that is curves. A lot of people like curves better than levels, but I'm a very simple person, so to speak, so when it comes to Photoshop, so I kind of prefer the simpleness of levels. But curves, when you work with colored photos and stuff, then curves can be really cool and easier to use, so to speak. But when it comes to stuff like this, I prefer levels because you work with one thing at a time, much easier. So, but they basically do the same thing. You push the either the gray luminance value, the black and white, or you take one of the red, green, or blue channels. It depends on what color mode you're working in. But this is RGB, so you work in either black, white, or in the grayscale, or you work in the RG or B spectrum, so to speak. So here we have these areas here should have no trees.
I think I'm just making it worse.
Oh, you're making it worse?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Dang it. Yeah, this is not going to be a project for tonight, I don't think, because I've had, like some of the other guys, I've had a week from you know where.
Okay. Yeah. My week
Um,
hasn't been that bad. It's just that I'm
all
a
right,
little bit
so
behind on my
this is going to be one of those
preparations.
projects where I have to really focus and sit here and curse and everything else. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna close down. Unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna close down Unreal for the night. You can see my little world here. In case if anybody has not seen this, this is the village of Nargenstal from Kobold Press. One I'm building in full 3D. It is
Okay.
a reconstruction of what I did 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
which I will never show anyone because it's garbage. I think Wolfgang and you are the only ones who have ever seen it, Anna.
Yeah,
So,
and now the whole world can see it. So, yep.
yep. Well, I've never showed the original,
Oh,
so I'm
that's
still
okay.
safe
Yep.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's good.
but the building I was just working on, actually, no, not that one. That's the building I was just working on. I
Yeah.
have another one that in my other level that
Mm-hmm.
is going to replace this. But
Yes, you have
again,
a placeholder cube, so to speak.
yep,
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
having issues with the roof line again.
Okay.
So it's going to
Yeah.
be a day where I just sit down and work on the roof. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to switch over to Blender. Because I'm really just, oh,
Yep.
come on, compilers. There you go. Keep
Yep.
up.
And welcome back, room GM. Thank you. Welcome to for
It's thinking
coming in
really,
here,
really
and yep.
hard.
Mm-hmm. And we're
Button
working
file,
on
save.
stuff tonight. So please stay a while and ask questions and tell us if you're doing it right or wrong or whatever. So yep. So now I need to figure out. I
All right,
just yeah
so
levels because
save one
I
last time.
do this. So now I need to. There we go. I need to increase the areas where there will be no trees here.
I'm gonna close down Unreal in the background. Okay, so in switching my programs here, I've switched over to Blender, which is my 3D modeling program. I'm going to be using a battle map from Kobold Press, from their Midgard Sagas book, I think. It's
Okay.
called House Legora, which is a floor plan for a two-level um, big mansion on top of a cliff, which
Mm-hmm.
seems like all mansions are on top of cliffs for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be doing some 3D work on that, prepping it to make it 3D and bring it into Unreal Engine. So bear with me while I get my bearings back on how to run Blender, because after I switch back and forth, I always have trouble. There we go. Get the right buttons. There we go. So I'm going to just continue my little thing here. I've started laying out the floor, actually the walls. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and continue that. So sorry I abandoned Unreal, but I'm just have to be in the right mood to be successful in Unreal, and tonight just wasn't doing it. So I apologize, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've all experienced that before, where you're doing something artistic and it's just like, nope, just not working tonight.
Yep. Oh,
Uh,
Anghamarand, welcome. Location, location, location. Yep.
yes, exactly.
And now I'm starting to think that my slope, I was way too aggressive with. I need to redo the slope here. I think I need to rethink the slope a bit because I'm way too aggressive in masking off slopes. So I need to go in here and see if I need to I can tweak it using this, or I have to re-import it again and work on it. So I'm going to see what I can do here. So I'm going to push it here.
And my screencast screens are not showing. Come on.
There we
Why are you
go.
not
So
showing?
now I'm
Um, screencast. There, now you guys can see what key bindings I'm using if I
oh
should be able
cool.
to see it, I think, on there.
Yeah.
Screencast. I think it shows. Might have to pop up the size a little bit so you guys can see it a little better, but
Yeah.
at least I can show you guys what screens I'm hitting.
Yeah.
Let's see. XY. And another loop cut. So I can change directions. Okay. And who was it who said backroom GM? You're not going to see that one. Nope. Nope.
There are certain things you want to hide from the outside world, so to speak. And I usually,
Absolutely.
yeah, I usually
Absolutely.
bring them out after some years when I've really figured something out. But in the beginning, you make so many mistakes. But that's one of the fun things of or bad things about doing live streams like this is that you will screw up a little bit every stream. Like now, I'm struggling a little bit to figure out which order to take the masks. But here I have a much less aggressive slope mask, and to be honest, I think that one covers a lot of the what I wanted to go here. So I have here is the wear mask, and then instead of putting normal, because if I take this one and just use normal blend mode, I just replace the wear mask with the slope mask. But if I use darken, then what happens is that I just add the one layer of darkness. So I simply cut away from the mask with each of them, and then I can actually do the same thing here. So I take the flow mask and then I put this one on, and instead of normal I put darken. And this way I start out with white, and I simply cut away more and more areas that should not have trees on it, and then eventually I will get a kind of a maximum theoretical tree mask. And then we have recessed areas. Hang on a second. This one was the one I'm reluctant to use, I think. I think I'm going to skip that one for a little bit. And then we have deposition. I'm going to look at that one. Oh, we have exposed here. So I'm going to take that one. And now I'm going to look at this one. I'm a little bit reluctant on this because it's too finicky, but sometimes it might be good. So I'm going to see if I can take and use levels on this one and actually see if I bring it down like this, and then bring it up. This is probably more where I wanted.
Oops.
So
Sorry,
here
I
I
have that.
can.
Get that out of there. I don't know if you guys can see the screencast very well. I have it fairly small, so you have to let me know if it needs to
Yeah.
be bigger.
Hello, JMX Runner. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. It's Linda and me. We're sitting here working on various projects. I'm working on my Shield Lens large area maps, or like regional maps. It's 15 by 15 miles. I'm doing mask work, so it's kind of boring black and white at the moment. So here we have, I need to zoom in and see, But this one gives some interesting details. What I'm worried about is, first I need to go to 100% here. I'm a little bit worried with these patterns here that I'm I'm going to I'm just going to test out and see if I do a blur. I put a Gaussian blur here, and I take a Gaussian blur on 1 pixel and see.
Hello, Quantum Weasel. Hello, GemX Runner. I didn't see you guys, sorry.
Oh, and Quantum Weasel, hi there. Welcome. So, okay. No, that doesn't really look what I'm interested in. So I think I want to stay with this. Now I just have one thing to mask off, and that is the water areas. So now I need to uh, test here. So I'm going to turn these off, and now I'm going to import in the water mask and see if I have it already. Yep, this is in shield lens, so it's actually you can look at it's this area here. So it's the let me make a full screen here. So it's actually the southern shield lens. So it's this area here that are the northern part of the estuary of the Veng River, so north of Scragholm Island, this coast, and then up to about here. So it's this area here. That's where this part here is. So let's see here. That was something. Yeah, we have the water mask new, lake mask. This one seems to have everything. So let's see if this one has all the tributaries and stuff that I'm interested in. This one has way more than my okay, let's see here if I can.
And what I'm doing here, guys, is just laying out the walls. And then once I get all the outside walls done, I'll show you how I bring it into 3D.
Yep.
So I'm just working on a flat plane. Whoops, wrong way. Flat plane at the moment. So
Yep.
you can't really see anything. So
I'm going to delete that. Okay, so I'm going to just work with this as my maximum mask, and then I have to manually delete it from water. That's the problem when you're working with this, because I'm editing my water mask on and off. So I guess I could make a water mask, but I'm going to be lazy and don't do that right now. If I need to, I'll do it. So what I do is that now I've taken these layers, top 3 layers here, and I'm going to copy merged. And it takes a while because this is a big file, so it takes a few seconds. Yeah, exactly. Scragholm Island and South Keep area. Yep.
eventually, guys, I will get to doing Greyhawk stuff. Right now, I haven't had time to look for a good map to work with or do any sketching. So it will be Greyhawk eventually. But for now, I'm going to play in Kobold Press because I have easy access to their artwork. What am I doing?
I'm going to call this mask for Forest Max, and I need to learn to spell properly. Forest Max. There we go. And I have it locked in position. And what I need to do now is to turn this into a channel, so I can, I need to save a mask. So what I'm doing here is I select color range and I pick the white, and I take the fuzziness up a little bit like this, and then I'll make a selection, and then I'll save that selection as a channel, and that way I can just load that selection wherever I'm going to paint forest, and have it as a kind of a guideline. And then I can start doodling in some forest here and there. So there we go. And now I'm going to take selection and save and call this forest max, and caps lock. It's not a good idea. Forest max. There we go. New channel. So now I have forest max as a channel. So now I can turn that off, and then I don't want the marching ants. So I'm actually going to turn off the extras. The mask is still there, but it's turned off at the moment. Now I can go in here and start painting. I'm going to start in this area around here that is actually around, oops, around the town of Port Foderin. That is one of my creations for my campaign. That is a ruined town. Used to be a town in Shieldlands, a little fishing port, kind of a town along the coast that got razed, or people fled during the war and stuff. And that was actually at the mouth of this river. So there is a little bit of a I put it. This is just, it was actually, I have it much better mapped on the previous map, so there is an overlap, and that's one of the things I'm working to try and figure out. Hi Justinius, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Hello.
So there I have it. Now I need to start tweaking here and see where I need to figure out. And I think most settlements have a tendency actually chopping down some of their trees because they need it as a resource. So I'm going to go in here, and now I'm going to use not the brush, I'm actually going to use the pencil, because I want it to be either trees or no trees. I don't want a lot of grayscale in this sense. So I want to have either or, and that's when the pencil is much better, because the pencil is full or nothing. So it's like ink, but the other one is more like pencil or brush. This one you get all or nothing. So what I should do is that I should have some shape dynamics. I can add some scattering, and I should also add some texture, so I get like this. But that's a little bit too not enough, so I'm going to do something like this and tweak the contrast a little bit, so I get these kind of creeping edges, fuzzy edges. And then I'm going to do this. This is also, I get like maximum variation of the thing. And now I'm going to test it, and it's probably a little bit too big. And I have white on there, and I have to make sure that I'm actually pointing. Now I have deciduous, so it's leafy forest, which is for the most part grows down here. And here we go. Yep. Yeah, that's good. So now I can actually go in here and paint them off. Okay, so now I need to start looking at things that are... First, I'm going to take areas that are a little bit difficult to get to, like marshy areas like this. They should have a bit more forest, the edges of marshes and stuff, because that's where it's difficult to get to, and they also get a lot of water. So, and they're a little bit away from civilization. So I'm going to add in some trees on the spot that are high here in these kind of marshy areas along the river banks. You shaking your head? If there are things not working out properly?
No, I had my fingers on the wrong keys, so I was like, why am I extruding that far out? That's dumb. And it's like,
Okay.
put your fingers on the right keys, it would help.
So you're taking that one in Blender for 3D?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm laying out the outside walls of the city, or of the
Yeah.
manor right now. And then once I get that done, I'll show you guys something really freaking cool. It's my favorite part of the whole thing once I get that point. But for right now, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. But
Okay, cool.
yeah, I'm just laying out planes that make up the walls. And you can't really see a whole lot of it because I'm doing a lot of keyboard strokes, which
Yeah.
is why, ooh, can't even hardly see my keyboard.
Yeah.
That yellow does not look right on there. You can't really see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let me fix that.
Yeah. And Moose
Uh,
has a really good question, and I think that I'm sure IU's has access to my maps because I'm adventuring in his area, so I'm sure he's snooping in on me. But Theristun, I hope not, because that's we need to keep him unaware of my maps because he might use them for various nefarious stuff. But I'm pretty sure that he has access to my maps. Yep. And
let's
here we have
see.
an island here, so
Size,
let's put some
Krakowi.
trees on that one.
There, that should make it a little easier to read,
Yeah, and I
hopefully.
can put some trees
Oh
here
boy,
too.
that's big. Okay.
I can see
What am I
that people
doing?
should probably live on this because it's a very defensible area, but on the other hand, this area here was kind of a good port area with
Oh,
direct
oh,
access to the lake, so that's why I thought that area will probably be better
there
for the for a little fishing fleet and a few people to eke out a living. But here I can definitely see a lot of trees and stuff because these are really difficult areas. They're easier trees to cut down than the ones here in these kind of semi-marshy or these wetlands along the river here. But there are some out here in the, and I'm going to remove them. Now, when you remove stuff, actually I can use the pencil tool for that, just to remove the texture, scattering, shape, and tip, and use maximum hardness, and just go in here and use dark color and just paint off these bits here. There we go.
let's see. What am I doing?
And
Shift
now I go
D.
back into.
Can I say what I did, Anna?
Sure.
I totally screwed up our extra guest for tonight. Told him the wrong time. We were supposed to have our friend Carlos from Castle Entertainment joining us, and he was going to
Yeah.
do on-screen mapping as well. But little old me screwed up the time. So we're hoping he sees the message and can pop in a little bit later. But unfortunately, it's all my fault, and I take full responsibility. So um, hopefully he'll see it and have time to pop in before we shut down for the night. So you guys can get mad at me all the way around. Oh, let's see. Extrude Y. I
Now
don't know
we'll.
if you guys
Yeah.
know much about 3D, but there's three dimensions is what 3D stands for. Um, it's hard to show, but you have the red arrow is the X dimension, the green arrow is the Y dimension, and the blue arrow is the Z dimension or the vertical dimension. Right now I'm just working in the X and Y. So, and when you get that point, then it's um, once you get done with that, then you take it to the point where you have the Z dimension all comes in too. So, but that'll be fairly soon. I'm not too far from being done with this outside walls. So,
Mhm.
whoops, get down here. And then I will show you guys what I was talking about, the cool part. Because right now, this isn't very exciting, but it's all prep work that you have to do to get things laid out, right?
Oh, just in as you can. Well, you don't. Yeah, we have messaged him and several times and said we were sorry we screwed it up and stuff. So
Yeah,
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 he might be working or he might be sleeping because he works odd hours and stuff. So that means that he has to. Yeah. So but
yeah.
thank you. Yeah. We should not stress it. We will send out invites for future weeks. So yeah.
Gregory, Gregory. Oh, hey, Justinius, I didn't even connect the name.
Hey,
Um,
awesome.
I miss our GaryCon days. Yes, I definitely
Yeah.
do miss it. I think Carlos is working, I believe, tonight because he said later tonight would work perfect for him. Um, but I'm hoping he can join us tonight. If not,
Hmm.
we'll have a special night some night where we just have him and us.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I missed GaryCon really bad this year. I'm hoping I can make next year, but money always dictates, you know.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, my plan is to go next year. So and it looking favorable for that to happen. So yeah.
Uh,
Oh, hi, Carlos. Just
hey,
woke up.
hey, hey,
Okay.
Carlos,
Yeah, we sorry
get
we
your.
screwed up the time and stuff. So yep.
Yeah, my bad, buddy. Sorry.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
You can you can punish me in the next game we play. Next one.
Oh sure, yes, Carlos. Please jump on in. Come on in. Yep. You have the link, I think. Hopefully you have the link, and I'll let you in, and then I'll adjust things in. Okay, perfect. Yep. Be ready and awesome. And then we can I'll
Excellent.
adjust things here a little bit and set things up. So yep.
Whoops. What am I doing? That's what I want to do. Move it over.
And now I need to zoom out a little bit here so I get the chance to figure out what I'm doing. And I should also do a little bit of evergreen forest in here just for the heck of it. And I'm going to take a bigger brush and I'm going to use the texture is very good to do it so you just get a very sparse like that maybe. So take a big brush and just do like this because here I get a few pine trees and stuff sprinkled in here and there. That's maybe a little bit too much. So I'm going to depth and just remove. There we go. And here I can just sprinkle in some pine trees and stuff here where I have to mix and match a little bit. So, yep.
Now we need to go an extra hour, Anna.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we need to at least an extra half hour. Yeah, well, yeah, we've been on for 1 hour almost. So,
Oh
so,
well,
so
no,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we can do
Gotta
an
give.
extra hour. Yep.
We'll have to give Carlos his due.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Set. Oh, I don't want to delete that. Shift D. X. There we go. Uh, give him his fair screen time. Screen time.
Yep.
Holy buckets! I better learn how to speak the English language.
Well, I'm learning, so join the club. Yep.
Problem is, I was born here. That's the problem.
Or
Okay.
Ravaging Ranger wonder what's the price or availability of Unreal and stuff? Is that something you have to purchase? Can
Um,
you download is it freemium or how does it work?
Unreal is absolutely free.
Mm-hmm.
That's the nice thing about it. You just go to look up Epic Games Launcher, download that and install it. And then inside that, you'll see a little tab says Unreal Engine. Actually, it'll look just like this when you get it installed. And you'll click on Unreal Engine. You just click it, and it brings you to this screen here. And then you go to, where is it? My home page. That's the marketplace. We want to go library. And then you'll be able to download whatever version of the engine you want to work in. Currently, I'm working in 5.03, which is the latest version. It is experimental at this point. 4.27.2 is the latest stable version. So you can work in whatever one you want. And there's hundreds of videos on the internet that are fantastic for teaching you how to do it. Um, Everything that I have has been free over the last 3 years, which I will show you real quick here. I have a bunch of different projects that I'm playing with, just my different playgrounds. And then all of these options that I have here are project packs that I can add to my projects. I've been collecting for 3 years, though. They give away free stuff every month. So I've been collecting quite a while. Currently, their free stuff is, go to the marketplace. Let's see, free for the month is a countryside building pack, the combat system for something. I have to look at it. You get a city environment mega pack, you get dynamic volumetric sky and Scanless interior. All kinds of new stuff. Every month they give away free stuff. And there's a permanently free collection. There's monthly free. There's paid stuff. Once you start digging in, be prepared for a rabbit hole because it will draw you down in. Um, and it's incredible. But like I said, if you want to learn it, the best video I found on YouTube for it is by a guy named Unreal Sensei. Um, Unreal Sensei is definitely the one I would learn from beginner status with because he explains what each button does, why he's doing the way he does. He doesn't time lapse anything. So
Cool.
that's who I learned Unreal from, the very first starting
Yeah.
things. So yeah, definitely look at it. It's a huge amount of fun. So, and once you start digging into it and if you can understand what 3D graphics and different things like that, you're going to have a ball with it. So,
Great.
uh, if it wasn't for Anna, like I said before, I would not even be doing this much because she's the one who got me started. So I'm going to keep touting your little whistle there every time
Thank
because,
you. Yep.
um, yeah, we met and you said, "Have you ever done 3D?" And I said, "No." So that's how I got started. So I'm just about ready to do the cool stuff here. So, oops, why?
Yep.
There we go. All
Now
right,
I need to
save that.
make sure I'm painting on the
Save.
right one. That's if anyone wonder why I'm using these signal colors, is that so I can easily see what I'm doing. So I separate out the two different forests. So I have deciduous or the leafy forest here, so I can turn that off if I want to work with the real colors. And the same thing, I can turn it off on the other trees here, so that way I can see more what the end result will look like. But this is so I can easily see where I place things, and I can also make sure that I'm working on the right layer. Oh, here comes Carlos, so let's bring him in
Get him
here.
in here.
Yep.
And I'm going to be apologizing ridiculously forever, I think.
Yep.
So,
So I'm going to do this, and now it gets all screwy here, and I'm going to hide self view, and now I need to, well, it kind of works, so let's see here. So I'm going to do zoom capture here a little bit and make it slightly bigger. Hello, Carlos.
hello. Stand by for technical difficulties.
Yep. I'm just gonna make zoom a little bigger there and do this, and hopefully I put Carlos on the left and I put you close to your desktop there.
Shrink me down. That's plenty of space. Carlos can have half my screen. That's fine.
Oh yeah, but well, hang on a second. I need to hang on a second. I need to do this. The problem is that that's set in zoom, so I can't.
Oh,
Yeah, zoom decides you share equal size or you will be. So I need
okay.
to do this and.
All right. You guys ready for something cool? Time to make these 3D. So
Oh,
we're going
look
to
at that.
extrude
Yep.
on the Z axis. Give me the right Z axis. Come on.
Yep.
Z, there we go.
I put that in
And
there.
they're
So
going to
there we go.
be about 10 foot tall.
Okay.
So there we have the basics of the walls for the
Yeah. And yeah.
area.
Hi, Gary. Welcome and welcome. Yay!
Oh,
Awesome.
can't hear you,
Good.
Carlos, but you're here video.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And we have Gary Julian in chat too. So welcome, Gary. Yep.
Gary Julian is.
Peace Medgar in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we made
See.
our outside walls for the area.
Yep. Oh,
Now
cool. Yep.
I need to. It says they're about 10 feet tall. So
Yeah.
we need to go.
Fireland, Fireland, Fireland. Yeah. Uh-oh. We're getting to you here. Yep.
Uh, let's see. I need
That's
to.
black. We should do this and
Are these
there
all
we go.
windows? Okay, now comes the fun part. So I want to select them all. And I'm going to go
Yeah,
3.
we'll see while Carlos working on
So can you hear me?
Yes,
I
we can hear
can,
you.
yes.
Awesome. Perfect. Welcome.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, everything's good now.
Yep.
You'll have to
Yes.
forgive me. New speakers, new sound card, new everything.
Oh,
So
but it
I was
sounds
like,
great, so
holy
it's
cow,
good.
you really sound different.
Yeah.
And again, I apologize for screwing up
yeah,
the time.
it's
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing?
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're
Awesome.
sitting doodling. I'm doodling in Photoshop, working on Southland stuff, and Linda is working on right now Cobalt Press stuff, working on making a 3D version of a dungeon, and yeah. So I'm working on the forest mask of the area. So if I zoom out here a bit, you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. So I'm having it's the sudden. Let's bring in the map here. So full screen here. So I'm actually working on this area here. So it's, you have Scragholm Island here, and that's the northern estuary of the Veng, and then you have the southern Shield coast. So this area here, that's what I'm working on, and you can see that here. So we have the northern estuary of the Veng here, Scragholm Island, seen a little bit, and little islets and stuff here. So what I'm doing here is I'm working on the forest mask. So I decide where forest is going to be, and I've colored it pink so I can see what I'm working with better. And there's also, if I turn this off, you can see I'm also working yellow here are pine trees and stuff, because they have different colors and different sizes and stuff. So I have these areas here that are yellow will be when I render them, there will be little knobs in the terrain, and there will be masks, so I can take them into game engines and stuff down the line, so to speak. And this is a raw texture, so it's not that fancy yet, so to speak. So
Man,
it's
that looks amazing.
thank you. So it's the last. There's two more steps. So when I have done this mask in, it would take me 3-4 hours or something like that to do the mask of the whole area. So there's a lot of trees here in the wet areas along the Senti River. So it's a little river that was originally invented by, I think I put
Oh,
it there originally,
wrong
and then the Living
background.
Greyhawk used it on their map too, and then I developed it even further here on this detail map, so to speak. So you have kind of a marshy wetland area here, and a lot of meandering and little lakes and stuff, and then it goes up to a little lake up here. And realize this whole map is 15 by
Wow,
15
that's
miles.
awesome.
It's 1/4 of a Darlene hex, this map, and it's 5 feet per pixel, so it's a porta potty scale. So yeah.
Okay, I got to close out of that.
Yes, I can exactly, Gary. I can tell where you can fill your
Crazy.
canteen.
You
So
know,
yeah,
Hmm? What's
hmm,
that?
please go on.
the whole shield lens thing, right before everything happened, with my projects, I actually had some intention on using that area,
Hmm.
for a fundraiser I was going to throw. So
Okay, cool.
that's very useful to me as
Oh yeah.
well.
That's great, because I'm mapping for my campaign about 1,000 square miles, so the southern southwest of Shieldland, so to speak. So there's about 1,000 miles soon done in this resolution, and stuff. And there will be, yeah, settlements and stuff like that. And you can get the raw map without any settlements and stuff, so you can paint in your own and stuff where you want them. So that will be coming too. So yeah, this is my first test area of to really kind of go deep in and see what you can do. And this is the same technique I will use for Altamira. So this is the first test area for I want to do it. I want to screw up for my own games first and figure out how it's done, and then when I do commissions and general work on Greyhawk, I want to know more what I'm doing, so to speak. So this is an area that we are looking at, and this is the raw texture coming
What
out of World Machine. So this is a bog here, and
what you
there's
are doing right now is completely confirming to me exactly why it is that I outsource maps to people.
okay, yeah, but it is just like, yeah, rules and character building, painting character portraits and stuff. That's an expertise in itself, and cartography is kind of an expertise in itself to think about the lay of the land, so to speak. Very so it
For
and
sure,
yeah,
for
and I
sure.
want this to be a super detailed canvas that is well suited for the stories we know of the shield then, so to speak, should be a play out there. That's the key. I'm having like one foot in geography, cartography, and the other foot in the stories, and I want to create a geography that fits the stories. That's the point in this, so to speak. So I kind of look at the stories and say, okay, what kind of geography? Because we don't have much of the geography and the landscape described in the stories, but we have the stories and a few little keywords here and there, and that's why I want to visualize the terrain that will fit the stories. That's the point, so to speak, with this exercise. And then people can use it in their own games to enhance it, detail it, and figure out where the orcs have their lairs, where would the ambush be, and if you want to have a long hunt across the plains here, how would that be, so to speak? Where can an enemy camp out be, and if you take that detour around, would that be faster than going the straight way or stuff like that? So, and here we have what used to be an
I
old
just, I just had
lake.
to wake up just now. I have to
Okay.
wake up for the show right now.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
That was that
perfect.
what the alarm was.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. So we're so glad you came. Yep.
Yeah,
That you're here.
and
So yep.
yeah, and I feel interminably bad that I told you
I'm
not.
sorry, man. Again, I like I said, I hate being late.
Oh,
No
yeah,
problem. Yep.
and like I said, I apologize profusely for being
No.
uh, goofball and not getting the right time for you. So,
No.
Oh,
Good.
it's okay.
Yep.
It happens.
And
uh,
this is
It's
a
okay.
bog area. So this used to be a lake, so to speak. Back in. This is so the brown part here is flat, so to speak. This used to be a few thousand years ago. Like if I assume in my campaign that there was an ice age, and this was an area back a few thousand years ago, or then and then that ice. This was south of the ice, so this was cold temperate a few thousand years ago, and then what happened is that there was lakes after the ice age. The ice melted further north. Then this area was a lake, and then as the lake dried out, it turned into marshland wetland, and then that dried out even more and turned into a bog. And the bog has the chemical properties that leafy normal greeny trees with leafy trees, deciduous trees, don't like to grow in them much. So what happens is that pine, like pine trees, spruce, and evergreen trees, they like that more kind of acidic, weird chemistry in bogs. So that's why these trees take over. And I use the color here. So if I take away the color, you see these are the pines and spruces and stuff, and then I take away the color of the normal leafy trees, and they're occasionally. So now I need to paint in the greener areas here. I need to paint in the normal leafy trees. So I'm going to take the color overlay back in here again, and now I'm going to take the deciduous here, and I'm going to make sure I have the right tool, and I'm going to take the texture, and I'm going to increase the density of the brush a little bit more, and then I'm just going to start painting in here. So we get these areas here that used to be like island or dry, a bit drier longer than these areas. So the bog can be flat, but the areas that are deeper stay boggy longer, so to speak, than the areas that are more shallow. They dry out faster, and they become these kind of green islands in the bog. And then you have some darker areas here that are even boggier. They are kind of still wet and stuff. So, oh, that was wrong. Should not go there. There we go. I can keep a few. So then I'll take and paint in. And the reason I paint more trees and stuff out here is that in these boggy areas there is usually more trees because they are kind of difficult to get to. So if you want to go out, if you live here as a farmer, or just someone who needs to cut down some trees to build houses and stuff, that means that you go and take easier trees. The ones that grow way out in the bog, you don't cut them down. So you're lazy and take the ones next to the river or close to where you live. You don't walk 5 miles and go 500 yards into a bog to cut down a tree. That's why trees tend to those few trees that are here tend to grow. So when you have these kind of little islands in the bog, they tend to have more trees than the general terrain, so to speak. And then gradually, as the bog dries out, it will
Anna, when
become.
you're doing a map
Yeah.
and you're working in, say, an established setting like Greyhawk,
Mm-hmm.
what do you have a tendency to do when the source material contradicts directly what you know to be true for nature and the way the world works? Do you tend to go with to defer to the source material and just say it's an exception to the physics of nature, or do you tend to go with what you know?
It depends. I want to have exceptions to be there because that's part of fantasy. It's like, for example, it's fun to have the occasional river that flows uphill because it's like magic, or you have like a black forest or like the sus forest. You have forest with like that are completely off the
Right.
charts because you can have like various, you can have planar or demonic interaction or deity and stuff, but I want them to be limited to what kind of the stories tell. So I don't spread out a lot of stuff like that outside the story. So I try to limit it and to where it is. But so far, it hasn't been a problem in Greyhawk because most people that written the stories don't realize how big Greyhawk actually is. There is so much space in between the little bits that are actually described in the stories that it's my job is mainly to fill out those voids. Meaning in Shieldlands we have probably a thousand little anecdotes or 5,000 little anecdotes of things that happen, that a settlement name, whatever, and so on. But the Shieldlands are like, it's huge. It's 1,000 by 800 miles or something. It's thousands of square miles, and that means that there's not even a snippet for each square mile, not even a letter for each square mile. So that means that most square miles, like 80% of the area in Shieldlands, have no stories attached to it, and that means that it's filling out the gaps, and that's usually the case when you do fantasy mapping. Is my job primarily is to fill out the voids between the story bits and also between the areas, because most of the stories, they are in fantasy modules, adventures and novels and stuff, they are usually about the iconic areas, the big jungle, the hot desert, the lava pit, the volcano, and so on. And it's those in between. How do I connect the jungle down there with the forest here, with the volcano there, etc.? So it's the filling out the in between areas. That's where I need to put most of my effort, in between the story bits. What does it look like when you go from this part of the story to that part of the story? That's my main job. So I tend to focus on the things that are no stories about, if it makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. That way you can be complete free artist license
Yeah,
with it.
not completely free, but very free, so to speak. All I need
Well,
to make sure that
yeah.
the terrain is believable in between the stories, and
Hmm.
then when you come to the area of the story, so once I go close to the iconic location, that's where I need to start measuring things in hundreds of feet sometimes, and make sure that the area around Temple of Elemental Evil look the part, so to speak, because that's where we have lots of details, little nitpicky. There's little drawings and sketches and stuff like that. So the but those are very far and few between. There's like maybe less than 1% of the Flannies that is detailed in the modules to any extent, so to speak, that I need to care for. Most of it is on the Darlene map level, and we have to realize this whole area here, 15 by 15 miles, is 1/4 of a Darlene hex, and it's still 200, and that is 225 square miles here, and that's 1/4. So a Darlene hex is almost 1,000 square miles, and that is a lot of terrain, so to speak. Once you have to start seeing it, I look at the outside world as most cartographers look at dungeons, or module creators look at dungeons. For me, the whole setting is a big outdoor dungeon, so to speak. I'm starting to look at it from that detailed perspective, and it needs to be a canvas to tell additional stories. That's how I look at it. To build a detailed canvas that has a multitude of cool options, and also to make, meaning this is just a bare green. The only detail on the Darlene map is the Veng River here, So you have, this is green and this is blue down here. That's all there is on the Darlene hex. That's it. There is no other detail. And now I need to fill this in with details. And that's the goal in this. It's like taking the idea of fantasy and making a rule system out of it, so to speak. Taking the ideas of, oh, I want the wizards and fighters and barbarians and rangers and clerics and stuff to battle it out against demons and dragons and stuff. Okay, what rules do I need? That, doing that with the geography, that's what I'm doing here. And also to think about the setting from a long-term perspective. Most developers of setting and modules, they look in stories in maybe tens of years, a few hundred. I'm thinking what happened here 1,000,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, and a few thousand years in the landscape. So I'm a hobby geologist that tries to use that knowledge and build interesting fantasy worlds. Meaning, what do, if we have a world where we have physics that is slightly tweaked and has more dimensions than in the real world? What if we have tectonics that is, we have a planet that is built of the four elements, not from normal physics and stuff. So that's what I try to use as my inspiration. So real world physics and biology.
Yeah,
And
I
all
can
that.
understand that. And there's something interesting to be said about that, Anna.
Yeah.
When I did my newest module that I just did, which I'm releasing here in about a week and a half, is actually set in Telchuria, right?
Yeah.
So I had to do some kind of similar things with that, in where you're thinking about how the forces that shaped that land millions of years ago.
Yeah. Cool. Yep.
When you're cutting new roads like that, you find yourself having to kind of supply those details that usually in when you're working in the Flyness you don't have to think about.
Yep.
Do you have a speaker running in the background, Carlos?
Yeah, we get a little bit of a
Because I
feedback.
can hear like an echo.
Yeah, I'm having some trouble right now. I'm trying to
Okay.
work. I'm trying to mute the second one because I'm echoey. I know it.
Okay,
Let me try
if
something
you have,
different.
If you have headsets, that might solve it.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's not disturbing. I was just hearing something in the background, so it's not
Yeah.
terrible loud.
No,
So.
it's okay. Yeah.
No, it's yeah. I've been trying to work with my settings as I'm going. I was hoping to have had this worked out, but as I'm going, I was hoping to have had this worked out.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
The microphone is much worse than it used to be. But
Yeah.
now we have more echo too. So if you have headset, that will cut away the problem with the echo.
Don't though.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just work around it.
Yeah.
Let's. Oh, you know what? I can do it just like this.
Okay.
I have a solution.
Okay. Yeah.
That will be perfect then.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to separate some stuff out into different groups. Let's see. I want to do.
Okay, that's good, Gary. That is not too bad from your side. So yeah, echo cancellation is also possible to do in software. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, now I think I'm fairly done with that because I don't want.
Yeah, as I said, I've got some new software here I'm working with, so you'll forgive me.
Oh, no
Oh,
problem.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
Don't worry
no
about
problem. This is a very laid-back stream, so we don't have any high ambitions for this. We just working along here. So yeah, I've been prepping. I've been working hard prepping for the convention next week. So this is a little bit of a just taking it easy for a couple hours, working on things. And here we have need to start looking at a bit more forest bits here. Then we have some interesting areas here up around the lakes where we can probably put in some forests a little bit here. And one of the hidden resources for masks is that you can take the texture map and you can select the greenish, most green pixels on the texture map and use that as a base for where you want to have forest. That works. That's a trick that is really neat because then you use a lot of different fractal variation already built in, so to speak. So you use that again, and then you have some areas like this that looks a little bit too. I want to kind of thin these areas out a bit, so I'm going to take that as a mission here and thin them out. So I want forest along rivers and lakes, but I don't want to have like too thick there and then nothing in other areas. So when I see these kind of sausages of forest areas, I'm going to break them up a little bit. That is a mission I can do here right now while I'm just go over it and edit. And this might look there is no tree, but I bet that there are several million trees in this on this map already, even if it's only covered by a tiny fraction, only like a percentage or two of trees. Oh, hi, Mike Womaku. Thank you so much for the game yesterday. Yeah, I'm working on trees here, or rather, mask for trees, so I can put them, go in and render again in World Machine and do one. So I'm going to cut them down here a little bit.
And what I'm currently doing is I'm separating each little section of wall into a different object so I can deal with it and put the cuts in like I was trying to do over here with the
Okay.
windows. I
Yeah.
was having issues with it because it was all in one big object and it was
Mhm.
causing issues. So
Yeah.
I'm going through and separating them out. Kind of a tedious thing, but
Yeah.
and a lot of people wouldn't do it this way, but this is the way I find to work most efficiently. A lot of people would just create one big thing and then use what's called a Boolean operation to cut out the different shapes they want out of it.
Mhm.
And it works, but the more times you do transforms and modification to it and all that stuff, it can get really messy if you don't know what you're doing. So, and I'm not very skilled at doing transforms yet, so I'm just straightening this out into a separate bunch of geometry. Eek.
And here I'm not just checking that I don't have too many trees out in, but no, they are on land and not in the lake, so that's good. And here I think because this is something that will become a bog in 1,000 years or something like that, and slowly turning into a bog. So this is now look. I will actually make it more marshy and less lakey, so to speak. There will be less open water and more marshland and bogs and stuff once I'm done with the final render, because this is so big that it should show up on other maps if it's there. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit. And these lakes are so tiny that they can, for the most part, be there. And what I've done is that this is also so shallow. That's why it's turning into, yeah, bullywogs and hags. Yep. Yep. Are there many bullywogs and hags in southern Zealand? I thought it was kind of a fairly hag-free zone. I haven't used hags in my campaign yet, so it's kind of
Don't give her any ideas, guys. They
exactly. Yeah.
got me,
Yeah.
got us already over a
You can
barrel.
never have too many hags.
Exactly. Hags and trolls are fabulous monsters. I love them. They're
Yeah, and then
fantastic.
she makes them abyssal. That makes it even more
Hmm.
fun.
But that was only in the
Sheesh.
dream. You haven't met one for real yet.
That's a good thing because the
Yeah.
one in the
Hmm.
dream just about killed us.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, swamps and bogs equal hags. Okay. Yep. Hmm. So here we have islands here. I can put some trees on the islands here.
so Carlos, you said you had a new project coming out. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
I do. Next week, the reason I'm not going to be at Greyhawk, the virtual Greyhawk Con, is because I'm attending a show down in Florida, which is GrogCon, and
Oh.
Yep,
they've
I heard
asked me
about
to
that.
do the official module for them. I'm one of the guests of honor at the show, and I'm really pleased to be able to support them like that. And the module, uh, they commissioned me a lot to do stuff for them, and I asked them this year, do they have any kind of a theme?
Hmm.
And their theme this year was goats and druids.
Oh.
Okay, that's a new thing. Okay, cool.
So I had to come up with something that was themed around goats and druids, and I did. And it's set in Telchuria. The module was called "Amidst Much Gnashing and Grinding."
Ah.
Hmm.
That sounds fun. Yep.
What did I do there? Oh, my
Yeah.
spine.
And it should be interesting. It's an all druid scenario.
Hmm.
Nice.
Ooh, cool. So it's coming out for the convention, but is that the also the official release of the module for from Castle Entertainment in general, or is it just a convention
It
special at
is. It
first?
is. It's going to be the official release for the module,
Uh huh.
and it is. I'm really excited, like I said, for it. I think that I hope it's going to be well received. It's a little bit different than the fair I usually do. For those of you guys who have seen the module that I released right before that, which is really has not been released for sale yet for general sale. It's called Across Black Moors. I wrote that.
Ooh.
It's obviously set in Blackmore,
Yeah.
and it's a hex crawl rather than just a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a hex crawl format module. I find that those are kind of fun to do. It's a
Yeah.
little bit different. So
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm hoping to make it to GaryCon this next year, but I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see.
I think the most fun part of it was setting it in Telchuria.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. What in the world?
That sounds awesome fun, and I'm thinking,
I came real close to setting it in Fireland, but I decided against that.
yeah. Do you
It's
have
not
any
quite ready yet.
updates on? Okay, it's not ready yet because Gary was looking for like
Nope, not
updates
yet,
on.
and I don't have any updates to give you guys that I can really share.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things like I don't want to say exactly how close I am or how far away I am yet. I don't want everybody to get really anticipated on it and then
Well,
disappoint everyone because I'm waiting too long.
that's already happened. There's already the whole community is waiting eagerly for it, so to speak. But it's a smart
Yeah, well,
to
you
don't
guys know that
tell. Yeah, don't.
I guess those
Yeah,
I can say this. Those of you guys that know how that I'm on the doorstep. So
yeah. But that's wonderful. But I totally agree with you. When you don't have a hard release date, don't. Estimates tend to always be seen in a favorable light, so to speak. If you mention something that is coming out soon, people expect it come next week, and so yeah. So I've learned to
right,
be more and
exactly.
more vague because sometimes it's up to how much else you is going on, and sometimes it's just inspiration. Sometimes it's pure. You have to just sit and slog through a few hundred hours of actually doing the work before you can release it. So yeah. And this my project here with these
And there's
maps.
other factors that come into play too.
Yeah.
Like for example, my day job that I'm
Mm-hmm.
at right now, um, because of COVID and supply chain and
Yeah.
weirdness, things that everyone is sick of hearing. I'm I am absolutely buried in mandatory overtime right now.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
So I don't have as much time right now as I'd like to work on other projects.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, real life have a tendency of popping in whether you have one or not. So it's kind of, yeah, it pops in. So yeah.
Well, I couldn't be happier that you've
No, it's awful.
managed to join. Bleh, if I could learn how to talk, managed to join us tonight.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Carlos. And well, we get
Oh
in here. So yep.
yeah, I'd woken up and I'm sitting there. I'm laying in the bathtub where I collect my thoughts. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what are we gonna talk about tonight? I'll maybe I can talk about this, whatever. And then I'm looking through my Facebook messages on my phone. I'm like, and my eyes just jump wide open.
Yep. And I was like, oh crap. Oh
Yeah, I
man.
messaged you guys. I jumped onto Twitch and messaged you guys from the bathtub. And that's
Ooh,
what I said. I
that's
was going to be about 10
dedication.
minutes.
That is dedication. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Jump out, dry off.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, we had a little confusion going on there for a little bit. It was like, oh, okay,
Yep.
we'll get it. No problem.
Yep. That's
And
why
then
I
No, it's
did.
said,
all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. I'm here and I couldn't be happier that you guys invited me. So thank you.
Oh,
yep.
you're
And
welcome. And
I just
that's
said, Anna, reserve a spot for him. I know he'll be here sooner or
yeah.
later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that's also why I didn't put any advertising out because I didn't know who
Yeah,
was going to
I'm just
be on the
sad that I
show.
wasn't able
Yeah.
to troubleshoot my computer here properly. Like I said, I did a lot of upgrades and that was my plan for this evening
mhm.
Yeah.
so the echo thing is
Oh, but
totally
now
my
it
fault. I
works.
hope
Now
it's a
it
little bit
works.
better right
Yeah.
now
Oh,
than
yeah.
it
It
was.
works
Is it any
great
better?
right now.
Nice and clear now. So
Yep.
you're good.
Okay, good,
Mm-hmm.
good,
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So yep.
good.
And
I feel
also
like I'm lagging a little bit, but that's all right.
not much. Yeah. But
Oh,
also we that's why I didn't send out any promo images and stuff because I didn't know exactly who was going to be on and stuff like that. So I just said, what the heck, we're just going to
Oh,
start
it's okay.
streaming.
It's
So
okay.
yep. And this is very laid back streams. It's basically to make sure that I work on Friday nights a couple of hours extra and put in
Well, for
out.
myself, when I was telling Linda a little bit about this before, um, all of my maps that I do and things like that, they're all freehand, and I will give them to the people that I'm commissioning
Mm-hmm.
to. I'll like take screenshots or things of that, and I will give them to like Glenn Seal or someone like that who
Yeah.
does a lot of my cartography, and who is an amazing cartographer. I'll give them to them and say, here, translate this.
Yep.
My wife's always like, oh, come on, you're really, really, your freehand stuff is really good. And I'm like, no, 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 it's not good enough for publication, though.
And that's
well,
something that's great to hear, and it's also something that I think needs to be said many times is that I love to have lots of sketches and things to work from, but they don't need to look pretty at all. That's what I'm telling when I do commission and stuff. I want a lot of sketches and stuff, but they don't need to be pretty at all because that's my job to make it pretty. I just want to know positions of things
I'll gi-
and stuff like that, rough positions and ideas and stuff.
I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
For those of you guys who have had the Nine, right, the module of the Nine, which takes place in the Sea of Medigia. This was the handwritten, hand done map of the Sea of Medigia that I did that I gave to Glenn Seal,
Yeah. Oh,
which is right here.
come on, that
Hopefully
is
we can get this to you
fantastic.
guys.
That
looks
is
good to me.
that's
See that
fabulous. Yeah,
It's
that
Mhm.
looks
I
wonderful.
did all that stuff
Yeah.
on there. Yeah, I feel like I'm a little too close in. Hold on, let me
No,
see
you
about
good. It was really good, and it was
Uh,
even sharp. So yep.
oh, it was good. It was good enough.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
there
it
we
was
yeah,
go.
great.
it was
Yep.
nice. Yep.
That's all better. And and then I would do this. I would come in and I would give a short, a smaller version of it for the like the area map, and you can see how that's the edge of the Great Kingdom there. I
Yeah.
was playing with line weights a little bit on that one.
It
And for those of
looks.
you guys who are interested in Fireland,
Mhm.
here are the. I'll give you a little sneak peek of something I've got that I can show, which is
See,
Of
now we
course, I
get
buried it in
exclusives on
understanders.
the show here.
Okay.
That's
For
awesome.
example, these are
Nice.
the hand drawn city maps for every
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the cities in Fireland that I have
Mm-hmm.
commissioned for
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
one of my cartographers to do. So you guys are actually going to get city maps or settlement maps, and when that's done. So
Oh, look at that.
fun stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Definitely fun stuff.
And you
Yeah.
guys
Definitely.
all thought I wasn't really doing anything.
I knew better. I know you
So
Yeah.
got
I've
a
got all kinds of
workhorse.
that's a Nolish settlement map.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, cool. I did
So, but
not
yeah,
doubt that you
everything I
were
do
busy.
is freehand and given to people who are like yourselves, who are so much better at this stuff than I am. Um, there's an old saying: "He is stupid, but he knows he's stupid," and that almost makes him smart. It's all about knowing your
That's
limitations.
it sounds a bit like
So that's
wisdom
me. I
intelligence.
know I'm bad at this, so I give it to people who are
That's
good
that
at it.
means that you have high wisdom. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I am not an expert at 3D. There's no way in
The
heck I am.
hand drawn map that would end up being
Look at that. It's beautiful. Those are
that's the hand
fantastic.
drawn map that would end up being for the map that Jay is going to be doing for his show, which
Nice.
is
Yeah.
Nice.
uh, all of a sudden I've lost my the
The
silk
LT.
antenna module
Okay. Mm-hmm.
basically
Yeah.
for the slave lords. Yeah.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
I'm
that's all that
far
stuff
from
is given to Glenn Seal or someone like that, and he has to make. I get to torture him with making some kind of uh, sense out of it.
Yeah. It's super cool. Yeah.
that looks like about the sample map Anna got from Cobalt the last time.
Oh yeah.
When you first start working on it, then they refine it, and you
Well,
refine it again, and
and I have to admit that when I did the first project, Southlands, then Brian Suskin had worked for hours in Photoshop, and the damn thing he sent me was so it was ready for publication. Most publishers would have taken that map and run with it, and I was like, damn, and you would expect me to make an even better one? It was like, wow. That wasn't,
yeah.
yeah, that was, so I worked for 7 months, something like that, and I realized this is not good enough, so I quit and started all over again, and I had a year to work, or I had a couple, like 3 months to get it done. So after about 6 7 months in, I realized no, this is not good enough. I started over and did it again, and I didn't tell. I showed screenshot of the old one, old stuff, and they said, "Oh, it's good." And I said, "No, this is not good. It looks as bad as the Greyhawk map from 20 years ago." And then I actually made it better. So when I gave the first new screenshot, that was something that I'm really proud of, because the Southlands map have aged fairly well. We did one major revision of it a few years ago, so it's good.
Yeah.
So, and most people don't realize I've actually mapped at the scale of the gray my big Greyhawk map. I've actually mapped more Midgard map at that scale than I've done Greyhawk in square miles, way more.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm still ahead on Midgard. So I need to beef up my stuff when it comes to Greyhawk here. So yeah,
Oh, I'll have to load back into Unreal and show Carlos. He hasn't seen any of my 3D stuff yet.
yeah,
My true 3D.
mm-hmm,
I'm excited.
yeah.
Give me a second here. I need to where is my
And
program?
yeah, will be a couple of more hours, and I will probably be done with the forest here. So yeah,
Okay, give that a second or two to work.
I like your color palette for Windows. I know that's kind of a pedantic comment to make, but
I actually went all black on everything, backgrounds, because I work so late at night sometimes that the white just blinds me
oh,
after a
oh
while.
yeah, I want to have dark mode continuously too. I have another
Yep.
computer then I have
You
a
guys get to
bright
see
mode.
a
I
snapshot
do
of my
that as
screen
well.
here.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, that
Igno
looks awesome. Yeah,
I'm a
Cool.
BattleTech fan. That's what that
Oh,
is
nice.
BattleTech
hmm
guys on the background. So just let that load for a second while it's thinking,
yeah.
and I'll continue to
We
work. And
played
then as
so
soon
much
as
of
it's
that in
up,
college. Oh my
oh,
god.
I just recently got introduced to it, and I am just totally floored with it. So it's like, yes.
I don't
I
dare
get to,
playing it. I might like it. So yeah.
well,
Mhm.
oh, there it is. It's got to load in for
Voice
it's
of Blake for 1,000, Alex.
yeah, right. Come on, finish loading your shaders in. Come on, it's being difficult. Come on,
Holy
there we go.
moly.
Yep.
Yeah, this is my actual village of Nargenstal. That is in Kobold Press's Raven's Call. And I started with, let me see if I still have it in
Oh,
here.
you're
Nope.
destroying me with this.
This is, I started out with their battle map, like a hand drawn, like you showed.
Well, no, I mean, like, right now, I've done so much stuff with Fireland, I just dream of longhouses and things like
Mm-hmm.
that now. So
Hmm.
Yep.
this is just, you're killing me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just stumbled upon a pack that somebody had made. It's all pieces and parts. So, I'll take you over to my other level here real quick. Open level, my playground area where I can work on all these different things.
Is that
So,
actually a person standing there?
it's a mannequin. Where's he
It's
going?
her yardstick, so to speak. It's her
Yes, my
measuring stick.
yardstick.
I was
Yep.
gonna
Yep.
say, did you blur his face like they do on Google Maps? So
No,
that,
no, he's got just a plain gray texture to him. But
Yep.
this is my fancy yardstick.
Yeah, so she knows how many
I see.
floors and stuff. So
Yep,
two mannequins is one floor. So yeah.
yep.
Oh, I was
So
gonna say that's the most interesting form of siege warfare I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
no, I was having trouble with the conversion from feet to meters. So this guy's 6 foot tall. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna stand him on top of his shoulders. That'll get rid of the extra foot that I don't need. So that way I have a really quick measuring tool and I don't have to dig out the measure stick inside of Unreal and it's like blah. So, but this is a tower that I made custom in Blender. Took me about 20 minutes and then I textured it in Unreal.
Go to
I've got
save here. Yep.
a great barn that I need to work on a little bit more because my roof line is not working out quite like I want it. This is my favorite thing of all though. I'm going to show you this sign right here. I modeled that from scratch in Blender,
Oh man.
and then I took it into Unreal, and this is
What's
actually,
wrong with you?
and then this one is actually just a, whoops, this is a blueprint. I can't do it that one. I actually put a decal on here.
Mhm.
So I had to learn brand new technology to do that to make it so I can use it two-sided. But yeah, I'm having a ball with Unreal. And then the longhouse here, let me get down here, is the Frost Maiden. The Frost Maiden Inn on his map, on Wolfgang's map. The first one I did, I will never show anybody. I know somebody was asking before to see it, and I will never show anybody because it's garbage. But yeah, this is the Frost Maiden that I made. And eventually I want to do, so if you go up here, say, let me see if I can do
That is
run around.
absolutely beautiful.
See if I can do run around here. Hang on
Mhm.
1 second. Let it get the exposure back where it's supposed to be. And I'm actually now running around in the world 100%. So I can test out, make sure it's running smoothly and, you know, do all this stuff.
You look so different on screen, Linda.
I know. I look almost space age, right? Yeah. But yeah, this is another
Well, you
little
got the
longhouse
Iron
that I
Man
have.
thing going on, or in your case, Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Iron Maiden,
Mhm.
yeah, yep, definitely. This is going to be a burned out longhouse when I get that far. I haven't finished building it yet. But what it is, oops, I gotta.
You have to show the special smith. You have to show the smith.
Oh, the
smithy.
smith. I forgot
Yeah,
to show you
the
guys the
smith.
smith.
Yep. Mhm.
Hang on, I'm
The
going to show
smith.
you my gatehouse first,
Okay.
right over here. And this is actual like
Is this
being
like
in a.
Morrissey the Smiths or something different?
This is going to be the dock and stuff that I built for it. The dock I built for the thing. I built it piece by piece.
Oh wow.
Yep. And jump up on there. Now I'll go show you the smith.
So okay, let me ask you this, Linda. That
Mhm.
dock that you have right there, are you planning on moving that, or is that just for like when the tide comes in? Is that where the dock is for that?
This is just a level that I build different models in. And when I'm happy with the model, I'll save it as a blueprint. Which this, let me get over to the
I see. Okay.
lady here real quick, or the Frost Maiden. When I get over to the Frost Maiden,
I'm sorry for asking dumb questions like
no,
that.
you're
Just
fine.
No,
You're
I'm like
fine.
the
that's a
layest
good
of
question.
laymen.
Yep.
You're
So
fine. When you get to the Frost Maiden, there's 293 pieces that make up this model. So I take all 293 and I make them into a blueprint that I can add, on the fly, which, whoops, wrong program. Get back there. Let's see, control. I'm in play mode. Hang on. I got to get out of play mode. There we go. Now I can go in here, which is my content drawer, which is
Linda,
stuff
your
I've made.
rig must have so much friggin' RAM in there that you can launch the space shuttle.
32 gigabytes only, surprisingly. Um, but these are all models
Really?
I've made. Yeah, only
I'm
32
shocked.
gigabytes.
That's a
Yep.
lot. That's pretty efficient rendering then.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's actually working really well. So anyway, I took the 293 pieces that make up that model. I
Good.
made them into a blueprint that I can bring in all in one chunk. Hang on, it's thinking. And then I can duplicate her on the fly like that. And I have another Frost Maiden. Otherwise, I'd have to rebuild it 293 pieces again, which is what I don't do. And
Yeah.
then the crowning joy of my recent sculpting is this blacksmith.
Well, in a way, I can see kind of the potential for that because what it does is you could kind of make a template for a certain kind of cultures like
Hmm.
Hmm.
architecture,
Yep,
and just adapt like that building to make other things and things like that. So
Yep.
absolutely. That's what they use it for a lot. Um, and yeah, I sculpted most of this from pieces and parts. The main building here is all pieces and parts. Again, this is a blueprint, so I can't really show you, how it was built, but I sculpted the fire and the um, chain. You can't see it very good here, but there's a chain attached to the bellows. I sculpted all that and I put it all
there it
together
is.
from pieces and parts. So that's also a blueprint that I can duplicate and import in all in just one chunk. So I can use it over and over and over again. And the nice thing about Unreal is you can copy assets from one um, project to another by just basically clicking and dragging them. So I can use this Frost Maiden in any um, project I work on. I can just what they call migrate it. So I can do it really, really easily. So yeah, this is my playground now. When I don't know what to do with myself, I come over here and play. So, um,
It's sick.
what's this one? Yes, save first. Come on, there we
I
go.
like pie. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the differences you see here, the shadows, is just because the shaders that make up the lighting haven't caught up yet. So if I look away and look back, they're gone. So, um, and I'll just show you real quick over here how I built a couple things here. So I have asset packs that I've downloaded for free because I've caught them free every month. Let's see, we'll do, what do I want to do? We'll just play in, uh, bu- 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 castle assets. That's going to be a fast one. Meshes. And every one of these items here is a mesh that I can use. Hang on, let me get rid of my stupid pop-ups. Enable tool tips 0 there. That'll get rid of all that annoying pop-ups. So each one of these is a static mesh, is what they call these. And I can bring them in. Say I want this tower. All I have to do is click and drag it in there, and I have the tower in my 3D world. And it's ready to go. If I don't like the textures that's on it,
Wow.
all I have to do is open up a different texture. Say I want to do um, whoops, I need to go to my materials. My materials. I want it to look like it burned, or we'll make it mossy thatch. I just need to get it down so I can see my items here. We want to make it look like mossy ground. We just take it and we drag it there, and it changes it to mossy. So it looks like mossy thatch now instead of the rock. And if I don't like it,
Nice.
all I have to do is that, and it goes back to the
Oh,
original
that's
texture.
terrific.
So yeah, And there's a pipeline now that's been made by Blender users where you can automatically send things from Blender into Unreal Engine. You don't have to export them, import them, export them, import them. It's called a pipeline that it automatically kicks it directly over into Unreal. It's freaking amazing what they've done. But yeah, I'm just using this as a playground, building this and hoping to entice Wolfgang, if he happens to be watching for any reason.
He wants
Yeah.
it to, his answer. He wants it next week.
No, he'll want it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
But no, yeah, this is what I'm doing in my spare time now. When I'm not doing Fantasy Grounds, I'm doing this. So to catch you up, Carlos. So yeah, this whole world is going to be pretty cool when I get it done. Right now, it is very huge because I started out with an 8-mile square, which I don't need. But once I get all the trees and everything put in here that makes the outlying areas, I'm going to shrink that down to a decent size. That'll save on rendering times if anybody else runs it. So, but yeah, that's what I play with in my spare time. So
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. This is awesome, Linda.
yeah. And again, Anna got me started doing all this, so
Because you realize, Carlos, that I want buildings like that on top of my terrain. We can combine these buildings with my Greyhawk terrain.
Right.
And
right.
you see where I
You
want
see
to
the
go
method
with
of your
Great
madness,
City of Greyhawk in 5 years. I want buildings like that on top of terrain.
Yep. Yep. And that is entirely possible to take your height map, your 3D
Yes,
height
Gonna
map.
and
be a
texture
busy,
and
busy
stuff.
girl, Linda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
that's the idea, is to combine. I do the
Yep.
terrain stuff and the larger scale, and then we can go in and use that for detailed settlement maps and stuff.
Yep.
And
And the
now
fun
there's sorry, go
Go
on.
ahead. The fun thing is you can make this to make videos. You can do it to make video games. You can do advertisements. Like if Wolfgang, for some reason, would want to advertise the Frost Maiden, you just go here and find the view you like, and you shoot a screenshot, and you've got a 3D rendering of the Frost Maiden that you can use in any kind of advertisement you ever wanted.
Yeah. And
But
Carlos, look at
Right.
now there are Kickstarters for 3D virtual
Linda,
tabletops.
can you change like the time of the environment? Like for example, if you wanted to do a nighttime look at that area, or like a like 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
you
I kind
can.
of figured you would be able to
I
do
just
that.
brought up my light controls, and I can change the light to whatever I want. Like I want like a night, like sunset.
I
I want
knew it.
full sun. I want it to come from a different
Oh, that's
direction.
awesome.
All I have to do is do that.
You can put fog in, you can change the weather, you can put rain in, you can put snow on the
Absolutely.
ground
Yep.
and stuff. So yeah, but Carlos, there is now 3D. There are Kickstarters for 3D virtual tabletops that can do this, and Meyer is, I think, the coolest one I've seen so far. They can take many square miles of terrain
Yeah, a
that
friend of
looks that
mine
good.
had shown me some of the potential of that stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be it's like kind of tied into augmented reality.
Yep. And that's where I want to, one of the stuff that we can put Greyhawk into. Tools like that in the future.
I'm gonna go back to my playground for a little bit.
That's why I want to
Wow, Linda, that's
work.
crazy. Can you also change season? Like, can you change like to winter and to summer and to fall and?
Not as easily, but yes, you can.
Yeah, it requires a little bit of texture change, and if you want to put snow on there, you need to change the geometry and stuff. But it's definitely possible. Yep.
Yep. Basically what it is you have to modify your terrain just a little bit, which I can do inside of here. If I want to have, oops, I don't want to create, I want to sculpt.
And I can show you here, for if we take an area here, let's take something that looks a little bit more interesting here. We have areas here with a bit of hills and stuff. So we take an area like this here, and just to tweak it a little bit. So I'm just gonna take this area here and just take a screen a little screen here. So I'm just take copy merged, and it takes a few seconds because my computer is not ultra fast. And then go in here and take new and because I don't want to screw up the one I'm working on. So I take it in here. Now we can actually go in here and take it in camera raw filter, and we can change this to another season. So we can actually work with this and say that we want to start thinking about doing a fall picture. So what I'll do is that I can go in here and change the color season. So I can change the first change the hue. So I take the greens and take them into more of the yellow here, and I can make it slightly tweak it from, oops, there we go. Yep.
Mhm.
So I can tweak the areas here, so I make it like that, and saturation, so I can shrink the saturation just a little bit, and then I take the red areas and I can tweak it up like this, and I can go in and start tweaking a little bit like that. And luminance, I can
Yeah,
say,
your filter system is amazing
yeah,
on
so
your
I
system.
can tweak something like this. But okay, so here we have something that is late fall, so to speak, or early spring before you get greenery. But then I want to say, okay, what about going full winter with it? So then what I do is that first I bring down the saturation, so we take the green out of the picture here. So we kind of go almost like that, so to speak, and the yellows. Now we start putting frost on things here. So we put frost, but we say that, okay, but now we say that, oh, what the heck, the water is in on the lakes and stuff start freezing over, so we kind of put, and now we realize that it's way too dark, so we need to brighten them up, and so we start putting snow and on stuff on the lakes, and then now we need to simply take the whole picture here and say that, okay, we put a dusting on here, and we put even more, and we kind of brighten it up and say, okay, we got lots of snow and stuff on it here, so we can then we have basically a winter landscape in a few. And this was just the easy cheating way, so to speak. I can
That's
do this
crazy.
way more refined if I use the masks and stuff, because then I can mask off the water, and what I do, if I say this is the stuff, but what, and now I realize that I should have, so what I do is that I take undo camera raw filter, and I realized, stupid me, so I need to do this, and then I'll take this and take the camera raw filter, and there we have, so now I have a summer and a winter. So what I can do here is that I can go select and color range, and hang on a second, I need to delete that one and go and select color range, and I select the blue, and I select roughly that. So now I have, that's all the water mask. So what I can do is that I can go here and I can create a new layer, and I deselect, and then I put white on top here, and now I can reselect and put a mask on. So here I have, now I can tweak the this and say, okay, turn off the white, and now I have an ice layer on top of the lake, so to speak. So I can, but I don't want to have it 100% opacity, because I want the ice to be a little bit kind of transparent. So I put it down to like 80%, and then I say, okay, but what if I want the lake the ice on the lake, but I don't want it on the river. So then I use my brush here, and I simply go in and take the brush dynamics. So I take like that, and I go in here and I paint the mask away on the river. So I just paint it away, and I take it up like that. And now I realize, and I just do it like this, and real quick and dirty, just take it away on the river. So this is the quick and dirty, and I can work with a bigger brush, and I just
Oh,
check
that's
it here.
awesome.
Yeah,
Come
so I
on.
just take it away here real quick, and just so you get it. And now I realize that, I want to, maybe I want to have them all blue like that, so to speak. So what I can do is that I can I can select, I can go in and go here, and then I'll reselect all of that again, and then I invert the selection and I go in here, and that means I should have inverted that. Hang on a second. So I go adjust and invert.
Yeah, there we go. It's okay. It's working. I was beginning to wonder if my sculpting was working right, but it's working.
Yeah, and then I reselect, and now I should probably inverse that and do like this. So I'll let it through. Oh, now we got full winter, full hard winter. So we can actually take, and now we can actually go in here and tweak the mask. So I can do levels of the mask. So I can start hiding the snow here a bit, and see where I can tweak the snow to.
Save.
So I can just go like this,
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah,
and
nice.
this is, and now I can. This was,
And
yeah. So we can tweak with a lot of, but that was not really what I wanted. What I wanted was to make sure. Oh, there we go. So I need to put that in a separate layer. But anyway, so this is how you can tweak a map quickly from summer to winter, so to speak. But now I didn't have the mask. If
Yeah,
I have
for
all
sure.
the mask data I have here, I can do that much better and do it very precise, so to speak. So I can tweak. So I'll make, so in the future when I have these detailed maps, I will make a map for each season. So and two for winter. So like mild winter and hard winter, and so you can have them depending on what the yeah. So they will come, and then you can have like there will be a lot of demonic invasion. The abyss is coming, and that will change things. That will be like I made a map that I called the 5 seasons. So it was the 4 normal season, and then demonic invasion or abyssal opening, and that took over. And that was one that I used on my business cards and stuff. So it was. So that was a quick, just very quick and dirty, not anywhere near good, so to speak, demonstration that you can tweak it for whatever season you want. So now I'm going to put the color overlay here, so I can figure out to sort out the final tweaks on the. I think there's some corners up here that I need to. No, they look good. There's some of these, yeah, these areas here that look a little bit too iffy. So I'm going to take the pencil, and that's the one, and then go in here and break these up a little bit. There we go. And these are the little nitpicky details you need to do, because these are generated in World Machine according to algorithms that work well to about 80%, but then occasionally there are hiccups that don't look good. So I need to adjust the computer and break up things a little bit when it's needed, so to speak. So I tend to, on the margins, go in, and I need to adjust about 20% of the stuff that World Machine does, because it's not really good enough. So I just need to, yeah.
Build. Oh,
So the computer, you can do a lot of it procedurally, but you always have to you should always adjust it a little bit to take those kind of hard edges off, because occasionally fractals have a tendency of breaking up, and you get this kind of big blobs of forest out of nowhere, so to speak. So here, for instance, you have like these a couple of you and nothing else in between. So what I do is that I break these up first, and then at the end I go over and add in stuff where I want it. So this is just a routine to go over these, because I want to have more trees along rivers and lakes, but occasionally you get lots of them in one area and none in other areas. So that's why I can keep them. So it's a little bit of getting over the ugly bits here. Just breaking them down a little bit.
I'm just rebuilding lighting because I was getting some really bad artifacts showing up. So I'm just rebuilding my lighting to make sure that it's not something that I did to my landscape that makes it ugly.
Yep. Oh, hi Josh. Yep, it's me and Linda and Carlos. We're doing a mapping live stream on Friday nights. So it's just a work session on Friday nights. So yep.
And Thank you guys. I'm still a beginner in Unreal Engine, so I appreciate all the kudos. What I've learned how to do is by really, really harsh trial and error. So,
Yeah.
and just getting in here and playing with it and learning, watching videos and
Yep.
trying to figure out all this different stuff. So,
That's how I
Anna's,
learned all this.
mhm.
I've gone to no school or anything doing this, so I've just figured it out over the years. And I started hard learning Photoshop really well, like just over about 25 years ago. I started working with Photoshop. I started working in Corel stuff 30 years ago, and then I switched about 25 years ago. Started learning Photoshop and Adobe's tools. And now I must say that I'm on a professional level, so I understand most of the stuff that you do in Photoshop, but not far from all of it.
Well, you are professional versus me in Photoshop, and I'm light
Yeah.
years ahead of you in Unreal. So,
Oh yes. Yep.
it won't be long though if you put your face to it and get your,
I'm a novice in both.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
I'm far from experienced in this, but I'm figuring it out slow but
Yep.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest challenge I'm facing is, first of all, having a computer that can handle this,
Yep.
because it's not for the faint of heart. You need, I'm running a Ryzen 7 with 32 gigabytes of RAM just to keep up with this. And I tried one of Anna's height maps, 16 square miles was the size of it. It almost burned up my computer. So
Yep.
I won't do that again for a while.
And that's the thing. When you work with this, I'm aiming to
There
the
we
thing
go.
should work in a computer that is mainstream in about 5 years, and I'm usually about 5 years ahead of mainstream. So when I've had a computer for about 5 years, now my computer is 5 years old. Now it's like a mainstream gaming rig. So now I need to get
There's
a new
game.
one.
There it is.
I'm going to build one in about a
LFL
month
scale.
or two. I'm going to build a new computer. So
Not a
yeah,
biggie.
I've put aside money and stuff. So now soon it will be ready to upgrade to get a new beefy computer again, so I can work on much. I want to be able to work on much bigger areas in one go, and I want to be
Come
able to
on,
render them faster.
processor.
Now each render of this takes about 10 to 14 hours, a map like this, and
Mhm.
render, and I want to bring that down to an hour or less. And then I want to, so I can work and tweak it a little bit and render again. And I
Okay,
also
well,
want to be able to render and work on at the same
file,
time.
load.
I want to have a computer that is powerful enough to so I can sit and doodle in Photoshop or something and render in the background.
Okay, this is our shepherd's hut that we built last
Mm-hmm.
stream. And I'm going to try to get this into a blueprint if I can find where it starts and stops.
Yeah, so I'm just
Oh,
breaking up some of the
nope.
bits here so it
Okay,
looks a
so
little bit more natural, and then I'll fill in some of the blanks afterwards here. So yeah.
trying to figure out what pieces are which that goes with this. So you can see how many different pieces I have making this up now.
Yeah.
Everyone is outlined in yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this is when you do this,
It
accuracy
looks like the
is
layer map for
yeah.
one of my dungeon maps. It's like 280 layers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is fun when you work on textures and masks and stuff like this. You don't want to be super accurate. The idea is that it should look natural and a little bit chaotic and simply done by pure coincidence or chance or randomness should be there. So
No, no,
that's why I
no.
work with a lot of textured brushes and scattering and as much variation as possible, because it's like you have a basic principle in nature, but you have variation added to it and probability in many different layers. That's how you make it look natural. So you set up strict rules, and then you set up only these rules should only narrowly be applied in different stuff, so to speak. So you put on variation of the randomness after randomness after randomness
Okay,
within a
so it
certain
is
boundary, and
trying
that's
to
when you
take
get it.
extra stuff here. Okay,
Yep.
so that makes up. I'm trying to figure out what pieces are which because I see it's trying to snag pieces from another building, and I don't want it to do that.
Yep.
So start
It
over.
looks cool. Yep.
That one, and those are from
Need
that
to
other building.
zoom in a little bit here. So see better what I'm doing here. There we go.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to have to manually go through and select these because it's trying to pick up pieces of the other building, and I don't want it to do that. Oh, come on.
So when I've done with these forest masks, I have to take them, save them out as black and white image or grayscale images, and then I import them into World Machine and I render again, because then on the height map I want one version of the height map with little knobs in the terrain. So when you look at it in 3D, you will see the trees poking out of the terrain, and that will give an accurate shadow map as well. So when you look from the top down, you can see the shading from the tree on the terrain map. So there will be one version of the map with trees and another one without trees. So when you import them into a game engine, for instance, you might want to, at a distance, it's perfect to use the height map with bumps as the forest, because that way you will save on you don't need to use a lot of vertices or objects in order to render millions of trees, because they're just part of the terrain. But if you move closer, you want to have a height map without the trees as knobs, because that way you want to have virtual trees with leaves and branches and stuff that looks good. So that's why I render a version with trees baked into the height map and one without, depending on the needs, so to speak. So
Okay, let's see, two more pieces.
Yeah, and this needs to work in both GIS, in both top down like this, and it needs to work in GIS, and it needs to work in game engines. That's the idea,
Okay,
that the same data should be useful in all three scenarios.
Yay, I got it all. Haha.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to group all that together so I can move it in one chunk now. All right, there. Now I've got it grouped so I can move it into a different folder. Let's see. We're going to get to the very top of all my pieces here and bring this down into different folders. Blacksmith. I need to make a new folder called Shepherd. Oops. Let's learn how to spell. How about we try that?
And if you figure it out, you can try teach me.
Okay, sounds like a deal.
Yep.
All right, now I have to go back down here and get my group.
And I can tell everybody this can be so boring a bit. So normally what I do is I listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos sometimes, and yeah, so or listen to audiobooks and stuff. So this is a perfect time to catch up on your podcasts and stuff when you do this work. So, but it's also very relaxing because you don't need to engage the brain too much. You can just sit and doodle for a few hours. So if I want to relax, I have always had projects like this that I can do, that I can just go in and keep doing it for 3-4 hours. But then my hand gets wonky, so you can only do this for like 2 hours or something, and then you need to do something else for a bit. Go for a walk or do something different. 3D programming or something.
This.
Or God forbid, start answering emails or forum posts and open Discord or Facebook or something.
Vertex blueprint.
I'm sorry, I'm so behind on all that stuff. So it's kind of.
And let's see, we're gonna get rid of all this. Call it a BP, which means blueprint. Shepherd's hut. And Unreal doesn't like spaces, so it'll say wrong name, can't name, blah, blah, blah. It's always got to be underscores if you want to have different stuff.
Yep.
And I don't want it there. I want it in my stuff, my meshes.
These white areas here is actually sand, because next to the river here, and that's part of my geology modeling in the so from the beginning I modeled the rivers, and the flat areas of the river bank get sanded, so to speak. They are sanded, and then I simply tell World Machine that let most of the sand that are non-flat or in areas overgrow with grass, and then they leave some of these areas are left sandy, so to speak. So it doesn't work really well. The idea is good, So what I need to do is paint some of these areas as wetlands and stuff around it, so to speak. So this river is only very partial. I've done part of it. If we look at uh, this river, when we go over here on the east here, so oh, hang on a second here. It's bigger than I thought. This area I've actually worked on. So here you have more of the wetlands and stuff in here. So and painted over. So these need added, and I need to add reeds and more vegetation and texturing the water and stuff. But that is something I'll do after I render the forest layer in. Once I've decided where forests are, I'm going to take the refined splat map and the forest mask, bring it into World Machine,
Okay.
render it again, export it out, and use that, and then I will paint and touch up the final texture, and then this will look fabulous once it's done. And then when I have that, I
Let
can
me
start
have it.
adding buildings, and I will add, in some areas I've already added in civilization a bit. So around here, for instance, you can start seeing uh, old farmlands and stuff. You can see that there are agriculture areas where people have had chopped down and used meadows for grazing areas and stuff like that. So there's signs of civilization in this. And what I've done is that I've let World Machine render a civilized version of the whole area. Meaning, if there were farmsteads in this area, what would the meadows and the patches of fields and stuff look like if humans were there? And I use that as a base for the. I think I have it down here, so yeah, we can turn it on. So here you have the farmland version of the texture. So what I can do is I can use this and simply say, well, if there's civilization, I can actually go in and paint in that piece of farmland just a little bit, so to speak, and tweak it. So I have different version of the texture that I can play with. I have another one, another farmland layer that I've worked, and it's only things that I work in blending in and tweaking, so to speak. So this is actually part of the previous map that is on to the east of here. So that's why that area is more done. But so I have already half pre-made textures for agricultural areas where people live, and then I can paint that in and start adding civilization and stuff. And I have textures for what buildings and stuff look like from the top down. And then I can
That looks
even
better.
put that in. I can even put elevation data for buildings in as another height map into World Machine, and I can render them. So if you have like a high tower, walls, and stuff like that, so buildings will protrude out of the height map just like trees, and that's perfect if you just want a distant screenshot or image of what the terrain looks like, including buildings and trees and all that.
To Shepherd's
And it will
Hut.
also be a mask, so Linda can take that data and put 3D buildings and stuff on top of in the game engine too down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to try that because
Hmm.
I've got a lot of stuff I want to do there.
Yep.
So let's see.
So I
Okay,
think it
that's
will be in
already
the
done.
future will be me and Linda working back and forth. So Linda's speciality will be the 3D buildings and integrate
Yeah.
them into the the game engine, and I will be terrain specialist, and then get that into the game engine and work on the large part, so to speak. And then we need to collaborate when you go from the large to the small part, and then get it together. And then we have to start looking at the 3D virtual tabletop and see if they are up to the task of working with stuff like this. And GIS is one way, because GIS is geographical information system. So what I will take this data and put it in GIS, meaning georeference everything. So we know what each pixel of this map will be on the real planet, so to speak, or the on Earth. Where in Greyhawk is this each pixel? And the cool thing is now you can tie GIS data straight into game engines. That's when it gets really interesting,
Now.
because you can project the whole planet, potentially the whole planet in a game engine, and that's when it gets really interesting. So there is a whole bunch of cool stuff that can happen. So yeah,
That's so
Test it
wild.
out. Test it out. See how it comes
it's
out.
it's early days, but we are working with getting the data. So my next
Ladies,
project, yeah,
I have to leave for the evening.
Yeah,
Um,
Okay.
we are already on overtime, so I think the time is to, and my hand is starting to get. So I'm going to save here, and then we can
Hmm.
probably. And now I think it's a new episodes of Rings of Power, so I'm probably going to watch that afterwards, and that will be my evening.
Now that I'm going here,
oh,
I'm probably
sounds
going to
good.
keep going. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm glad you could make it, Carlos. I
Oh,
wish it would have been the
yeah,
full
thank you.
2 hours, but
Well,
yeah,
thank you
we
so
had a
much for having me.
It was
Um,
awesome. Yep.
you guys are doing such crazy, cool stuff right now. I'm blown away
Mhm.
by the potential of this.
Yeah. So,
I'm
Carlos, any shout outs and stuff you want to do before we end up?
Oh no, just my guys from well, actually, yeah, I do have one shout
Hmm.
out I'd like to make
Yeah.
actually. The guys from GrogCon next week. Of course, I'm going to be down there, so shout out to them. But um, today, the gaming world actually lost a really good guy.
Uh
I
oh.
want to give a quick shout out to a guy by the name of Alex Karazin. He ran a blog on the OSR and things like that, and
Hmm.
he was a good friend of mine, a good guy. He died of a massive heart attack earlier
Oh.
today. I just found
mm,
out,
Oh,
and
that's sad. Yeah.
he left behind a child and a wife, and the world's a little bit of a darker place for without his presence. He's was
hmm
an enthusiast of Greyhawk and of the you know
Yeah.
just a champion for equity and equality. He worked at a as an IT guy for a food bank
Hmm.
down in Pittsburgh. Um,
Okay.
just a very very good guy, and
Yeah.
well, we're all diminished for his loss. So I want to give a shout out to him,
Yeah.
Alex. You made my life better.
mm. Yeah, it's really sad.
So
There's a
yeah,
lot of stuff
that's a
happening,
cheery
and
way for me to leave off. I know, but I'm sorry.
No,
that's good
but
though.
it's good. Yeah.
Definitely need a shout out for him.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. And like I said, thank you again, Carlos, for understanding that I screwed up your time. But hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of
Well, it's
fun to get you on
okay.
here
It
and
happens.
yeah.
Hmm.
But we'll get it on
That'd
the
be awesome. Next time I'll be prepared and I'll have a little bit more to contribute.
No problem. It was just
yeah.
wonderful to have
Well,
you on and
hopefully
chatting with us.
hopefully next time I'll be working on something actually that's Greyhawk.
Yep.
I need to work on getting a few sketches done, so
Hmm.
and looking at different things and
Yep.
figuring out things. And then someday I want to try and start working on different things. I was going to start working on Wantham, but I'm going to wait for a little bit on Wantham and figure
Hmm.
out some other stuff first.
Yeah.
And then I got to start doing some sketches. So unfortunately, it's going to take me a while to figure
Yep.
out, gather all the data, figure out what the building looks like, and then I can start building it in 3D.
Hmm.
So,
Yep. So then
but
I can do my shout outs, and first I would say on Sunday on the Lord Gasumba channel that will be the Gavin will be a precursor to the virtual GreyHawkCon. So DMs and streamers and stuff will come on and talk about what they're up to and stuff. So I will talk a little bit more about my seminar and my game and stuff next weekend. And the game will be streamed here on this channel, and the seminar will be on the Lord Gasumba channel. So I haven't figured out dual streaming, but it's the audience will be the same. So it's better to have it on the Lord Gasumba channel, the seminar, so to speak. But the game will be streamed here, and it will be set in the Shieldlands. And then on Monday there is a Greycast. Have yeah. They've done an episode where I talk about a lot of my work and stuff like that coming Monday. So look out for that on Spotify and wherever you look for your podcast. I think you can find Greycast. They're doing amazing, cool work. So
mhm.
Mateus and Wiley Hobbit, they're doing fantastic work with their podcast. It's so much fun to talk to these guys. And then yeah, and then
Wiley and I are actually down on the down low. He's going to be contributing to a new module of mine.
oh,
Some of
that
his
is
work you'll be able
so
to see it in
cool.
one of my
Yep.
new modules. So
Yep. So it's
And
awesome. Yep.
again, thank you everybody for the beautiful work, and I can't say enough thank yous. So
Oh, yeah,
it's
it's wonderful, Linda, to have you here, and we should make this more of a
mhm,
tradition. And we'll see if Alyssa will come back on next week. We will not have a mapping stream because we have the convention, and virtual GreyHawkCon will take all the
mhm.
stuff, so to speak. So next week there will be no mapping live stream, but there will be
Oh,
plenty of other stuff, so to speak. So yeah,
can I do a quick shout out before we
sure,
end?
please.
I have a YouTube channel that I'm putting more videos up on all the time for 3D and all that different stuff. It's called Steel Valkyrie Gaming. So anybody interested, go over there and you can see some more of my work. I
Yeah.
don't have anything publicly available, unfortunately, right now, because a lot of it is made by made in the image of companies that have copyrights. So
Hmm.
eventually I will be working on Greyhawk, like I said, but check it out. Steel Valkyrie Gaming, you'll see a lot of different stuff up there. Um, Unfortunately, like I said, it's just new. I haven't got it all set up yet, but I'm working on it. So,
Okay, cool. Yep.
mhm.
And there have been a dire kind of not that much posted on my Patreon for the past couple of weeks. That is going to change after Virtual Garricon. I will probably take a week off, and then I will be back and start posting a lot of the stuff that I use for my games, for the game, and a lot of this Shieldlands map will come more heraldry and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's I've been holding off a little bit because I don't want to spill the beans and give you guys all the information before I run the game. So that's why it's coming afterwards. So thank
That
you.
and I'm one of your players.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Linda is one of the players. So yep. So thank you everyone for watching, and we will be back and see you soon. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.